didn't want to see a military takeover. And many of those people hit the streets. They protested all across Egypt. He was repeatedly saying in his speeches and in his
Philippines condemns floating barrier in South China Sea. Hello everyone, welcome to watch and come back to the Daily News YouTube channel. Images posted on social media show buoys placed by China that block Philippine fishing boats from entering an area within Manila's exclusive economic zone. The Philippines has accused China's Coast Guard of installing a floating barrier in a disputed area of the South China Sea, which it said prevents Filipinos from fishing within its exclusive economic zone, EEZ. The Coast Guard and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources strongly condemn China's installation of the barrier in part of the Scarborough Shoal, which prevents Filipino fishing boats from entering the shoal and depriving them of their fishing and livelihood activities, spokesperson Jay Terriella posted on Sunday on X, formerly Twitter. Photos showed multiple buoys lined up and guarded by Chinese boats in the area, known in the Philippines as Bajo de Masinloc. The barrier is about 300 meters, 985 feet, long and was discovered during a routine maritime patrol on Friday, said Terriella. When Philippine boats started fishing, 4 Chinese Coast Guard vessels initiated a series of 15 radio challenges in an attempt to drive away the vessels, he said. The Philippine Coast Guard will continue to work closely with all concerned government agencies to address these challenges, uphold our maritime rights and protect our maritime domains, Terriella added. Scarborough Shoal is within the 200 nautical mile, 370 kilometers, east of the Philippines as defined by international maritime law and affirmed by a ruling of The Hague's International Court of Arbitration. Beijing claims the area as part of its territory and refers to Scarborough Shoal as Huangyan Island. China's embassy in Manila did not immediately reply to a request for comment. In recent weeks, Manila and Beijing have traded accusations of illegal incursions, firing water cannon, and performing dangerous boat maneuvers in the disputed area.
Leading Egyptian opposition presidential candidate targeted by spyware. Security researchers, including from Google, believe the Egyptian government is behind the attacks. An opposition Egyptian presidential candidate was targeted with spyware a number of times in recent months, with Egyptian authorities likely behind the hacking attempts, security researchers say. Ahmed Al-Tantanawi said on Saturday he contacted internet watchdog Citizen Lab after receiving suspicious messages on his smartphone. The former Egyptian lawmaker said he suspected they were malicious and inextricably linked to my political candidacy
These were the sort of the pro-democracy Egyptians. They were people who either voted for Morsi or who didn't want to see a military takeover. And many of those people hit the streets. They protested all across Egypt. He was repeatedly saying in his speeches and in his
Researchers at the University of Toronto-based Citizen Lab and Google's Threat Analysis Group found the malware against Al-Tantanawi last week, which prompted Apple to implement security updates on Thursday to patch the associated vulnerabilities. Citizen Lab said in a blog post that attempts beginning in August involved configuring Al-Tantanawi's phone's connection to the Vodafone Egypt mobile network to automatically infect it with predator spyware if he visited websites not using the secure HTTPS protocol. The watchdog said the attempts probably failed because Al-Tantawi had his phone in lockdown mode, a recommendation Apple makes for users at high risk, including activists, journalists, and political dissidents in countries like Egypt. Prior to that, attempts were also made beginning in May to hack Al-Tantawi's phone with Predator via links in text and WhatsApp messages that he would have to click on to become infected.
The Egyptian nation wanted him to step in and remove Mohammed Morsi. So the fact that there was opposition in the streets was a really just sort of a black eye on the military regime at that time. The Rabaa sit-in was, from the perspective of the Sisi regime, untenable. It could not go on any longer. And
once a phone is infected, the Predator spyware turns a smartphone into a remote eavesdropping device, allowing the attacker to siphon off data. Researchers at Citizen Lab are certain the Egyptian government is behind the attacks given that Egypt is a known customer of Predator's maker, Citrox, and the spyware was delivered via network injection from Egyptian soil. It's scary the fact that the government can essentially select anyone on Vodafone Egypt's network and perhaps other networks for infections and they just flip a switch, said Bill Marchak of Citizen
tens
Lab.
of thousands of people,
The most likely scenario here is that, yes, there is this cooperation from Vodafone, he added. In 2021, Citizen Lab had previously determined that Al-Tantawi was hacked by Predator.
As has been documented by Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch.
The presidential candidate, also a former journalist, announced in March his bid to challenge El-Sisi in Egypt's upcoming 2024 elections. El-Sisi's government has, since he came to power in 2014, been accused of a brutal crackdown against opposition politicians, human rights activists, and dissidents, including through tactics such as forced disappearances, torture, and long-term detentions without trial. According to activists, Al-Tantawi, his family members, and his supporters complained about being harassed, which prompted him to ask Citizen Lab researchers to analyze his phone for potential hacking attempts. Thanks for following our YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the subscribe button to receive our latest information and thank you.